Zimbabwe cash crisis worse. Talking about Venezuela once again.
Systemic important banks. They removed the one factor called monetary awareness. Hey there, hope all is well. Back here today with some RT News updates. And as you can tell today, I'm surrounded by even more companies that's all coming out at this current time warning about how the economy is not what it might seem. So today I have an article that was just released not long ago. So basically I want to be short and brief and thumb through it. And as always, if you're interested, you can find out more information about the details beneath this video. So let's get into this article. So here we have an article from CNBC that came out today, this afternoon. It says a growing list of companies from FedEx to BMW are warning about the world economy. Here's the warning. It says corporate giants doing business abroad are painting a dreary picture of the world's economy. With the ongoing trade war between the US and China, Brexit uncertainty weighing on Europe and the UK, the new weakness out of Japan, a group of business leaders says harder than ever to rake in profits. Here we go. The main problem. Profitability for all these corporations in an environment where debt is extremely high and a lot of people aren't spending the way they were years ago. It says this week top executives at FedEx, BMW, UBS, and others describe bleak, here we go, bleak global business conditions, bleak. While discussing quarterly results, Fitch Ratings also aggressively cut its forecast. Scroll down a little bit more. It says the head of UBS was the latest to blame the world's backdrop for weaker than expected results. Chief Executive Sergio Murty told a conference in London on Wednesday that it, quote, one of the worst quarter environments in recent history. So even more so than 10 years ago during the Great Recession, that type of history. And if it is, then that lets me know that things are a lot worse than what is being painted from the mainstream news. There's a Swiss bank slashed another $300 million from 2019 costs after revenue at its investment bank plunged. Scroll down some more. BMW is another with a less than rosy outlook. Says a German automaker said it expected pre-tax profit to fall by more than 10% in 2019, which is definitely not good news for shareholders, I'm sure. Says, quote, depending on how conditions develop, our guidance may be subject to additional risk, in particular the risk of a no-deal Brexit and ongoing developments in international trade policy. So two primary things that they're keeping a concern on, which is of risk to them. We got the no deal in Brexit, and then we got the international trade situation, or that trade deal war that's going on with us and China. Scroll down a little bit more. It says Samsung also on Wednesday said that the electronics company is forecasting a tough 2019 due to slowing economic growth, global trade tensions, and softer demand for memory chips from data center companies. And then scroll down a little bit more, it says it's not just the big names. All companies in the S&P that generate more than half of their sales overseas are expected to see an earnings decline of 11.2% in the first quarter of 2019. So here we are, the third month of 2019, and we have these companies talking about an earnings decline of about 11.2% in the first quarter of 2019. And so if you're invested in any of these companies, I'm sure as an investor or as a money manager in which people put their funds in your hands to take care of, these are not the type of conditions that sound very rosy in regards to people actually expecting to receive those type of returns that they're promised. Scroll around a little bit more. It says global jitters. It said Fitch Ratings also quite aggressively cut its 2019 global forecast this week. They're quoted as saying, global growth prospects have deteriorated significantly since Fitch Ratings' last global economic outlook in December 2018. So here we have, since 2018, which is a little bit over 3.5 months ago, it said it has deteriorated significantly. So what has happened over the last 3.5 months is a question we should be asking. Scroll down a little bit more. It says in January, the CEO of Adidas called Brexit the biggest concern for the company for its potential ripple effect on the European economy. Says Europe is about 30% of the German sportswear makers' business. Scroll down some more. Says Japan added to heap of worries this week. For the first time in 3 years, the Japanese government downgraded its assessment of the economy, blaming the U.S.-China trade for slumping exports and industrial outputs. So here we have it. This is just more of what's going on from the mainstream source. And it's interesting how more and more companies day after day now are coming out giving their warnings based upon how their company is not being profitable in this environment. And it's interesting how Fitch Ratings mentioned that since December 2018, things have deteriorated drastically. And so the question is, what has been going on behind the scenes that we have not heard about, which is starting to bubble up on the surface, which is causing all these companies to come out and admit that they are not expecting to be as profitable this year. And we're still in the first quarter of this year. So imagine how things might be for the second quarter and the third, and especially winding into the end of this year as we have all the other issues that we're going to be facing as a country. So this is just more of what's happening in the news. Thought I would take a minute to share with you more companies that's coming out now, sharing information about things they're talking about in the boardroom. And so what this will lead to, unfortunately, is more companies looking to restructure their game plan, which ultimately means more layoffs. So when they restructure, that means downsizing. Downsizing means even more pressure on governments to meet the demand of the people as unemployment rises, and it's just one domino effect that will impact everybody. So other than that, I would love to hear your thoughts on this information. Feel free to leave a comment down below. More importantly, if it's informative, give it a thumbs up, and once again, don't be afraid to share it. Other than that, look forward to bringing you more news. Enjoy your day.